Welcome to our corner of understanding and compassion, where we delve into the complexities of relationships and nurture bonds that last a lifetime. Mia, what do you think of this guy? Mia's husband, Lucas, sighed and replied, still not exactly what I was looking for. I kind of expected it anyway. Where do you find these candidates anyway? Lucas asked with a hint of frustration. What are you talking about? At least I'm trying to do something. And you? All you know how to do is criticize what I'm doing. The young couple was arguing about yet another chef Mia had found for their restaurant. He wasn't quite the right fit they were looking for. I'm saying that we need to do more research and ensure that the chef we hire is the perfect match for the restaurant, Lucas explained. Picking someone at random won't cut it. We have to make sure we find the best person possible. Mia sighed, feeling the weight of the responsibility on her shoulders. I know you're right. It's just that sometimes, I feel like you're too critical. I'm doing my best to find the right person for the job, but it's not easy. I'm giving it my all. Lucas softened, realizing he might have been too hard on her. He wrapped his arm around her and said, I know you are, and I'm sorry if I've been too critical. I just want to ensure that we find the perfect chef for our restaurant. Let's work together and conduct a thorough search. As they discussed the chef search, Mia placed a folder on the table. By the way, this is our account summary, honey. This month, our restaurant has broken all records. We haven't incurred any losses, but we haven't made much either. Lucas scratched his head, feeling concerned about the financial situation. Mia continued, You're right. We didn't face these challenges when Dad was in charge. Maybe it makes sense to ask him for help. Lucas pondered Mia's suggestion, realizing that seeking his father's advice might be beneficial. You know what? Maybe that's not a bad idea. Your dad has a lot of experience, and we could learn from him. With renewed hope and a sense of unity, Mia and Lucas decided to reach out to Mia's father for guidance. They understood that working together and seeking help when needed were essential for the success of their restaurant. As they navigated the challenges, they knew their love and commitment to each other would see them through any rough patch, just as it had in the past. Lucas stood up, his determination evident. No, don't even think about telling him. I'll figure something out. Why do you always think I can't do anything without your father? Because you can't do everything by yourself, Mia replied with concern. I think we should talk to him before it's too late. We don't have much of a choice anyway. Look at the numbers. In a few months, we won't be able to cover the salaries. Mia's words struck a chord with Lucas. He knew she was right, but he didn't want to admit defeat just yet. I'll come up with a solution, he said firmly. I'm not ready to give up. We do need a new chef. Someone with an old-school approach, someone who doesn't just follow the trends, Mia said, sighing. But finding the right person is challenging. It has to be someone unique to lift the restaurant out of this hole. I agree. We'll keep looking, Lucas said, sharing his wife's concern. The restaurant was once owned by your father, where I worked as an administrator under his guidance. It's where we met and fell in love, he reminisced. Their connection had grown from colleagues to life partners in just 6 months, and Lucas became an integral part of Mia's family. As time went on, Mia's father gradually delegated more responsibilities to Lucas, trusting him with various aspects of running the restaurant. Their shared vision and passion for the place had sustained them through many ups and downs. We've come so far together, and I believe we can turn things around, Lucas said, holding Mia's hand. Let's keep pushing forward, side by side. Mia nodded, her eyes filled with hope and determination. You're right. We can do this together. We've overcome challenges before, and we'll do it again. With renewed strength, Lucas and Mia faced the uncertainties ahead, confident that their love, teamwork, and perseverance would lead them to find the perfect chef and breathe new life into their beloved restaurant. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but together, they were ready to tackle whatever came their way. The time will come when I need to step back and rest. You and Mia will have to run the restaurant on your own. I hope you've learned everything you need to by then. I don't want your children to go hungry, Mr. Fosterfield advised Lucas, imparting his wisdom and concern for the future. Lucas was filled with innovative ideas for improving the restaurant, but Mr. Fosterfield often shot them down or ridiculed them, which left Lucas frustrated. Slow down there. If something works perfectly, there's no need to change it, Mr. Fosterfield would warn, seemingly resistant to change. Returning home after such encounters, Lucas would vent his frustrations to Mia. That old man has no idea what the modern world is all about. Nobody cooks like that anymore. You won't find a single restaurant with such outdated decor, he exclaimed. While Mia was torn between hearing negative remarks about her father and supporting her husband, she believed in Lucas's vision and encouraged him to be patient. Honey, be patient. Dad has mentioned how tired he is of working and wants to retire to the country, Mia assured Lucas. His frustration eased as he embraced his wife. I can't wait. I have so many ideas, and he just dismisses them without a second thought, Lucas confided. I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing it for Maya, Lucas revealed. Maya, their 15-year-old daughter, was a bright and charming girl with a remarkable academic record and a myriad of extracurricular accomplishments. Lucas and Mia were immensely proud of her. Mr. Fosterfield shared an unwavering love for his granddaughter and was dedicated to ensuring her happiness and well-being. On Maya's 14th birthday, he made a significant and heartfelt gesture, presenting the keys to the restaurant to Mia and Lucas at the birthday party. This symbolic act marked the transfer of ownership and demonstrated his confidence in their ability to carry on the family business. As the future unfolded, Lucas and Mia faced the dual challenge of honoring Mr. Fosterfield's legacy while embracing their own vision for the restaurant. With Maya by their side, they were determined to create a thriving and modern establishment that honored tradition while embracing the evolving culinary world. Together, they were a family of passion, innovation, and devotion, ready to shape the future of their beloved restaurant. I hope I've given you enough wisdom to not let the restaurant falter. I've poured my life and soul into this business, Mr. Fosterfield said earnestly, passing on his legacy to Lucas. Visibly moved, Lucas replied, "Thank you very much. I won't let you down. The family business will only continue to thrive." With a sincere intention to grow the restaurant, Lucas embarked on a path of transformation, believing that a complete renovation was necessary to modernize its appeal. Sweeping changes were made to both the menu and the ambience. However, these alterations did not yield the desired results, and profits began to decline as the restaurant struggled to adapt to its new identity. After a few years, Lucas realized that his vision for the restaurant had failed. With a heavy heart, he decided to return to the original concept, hoping to recapture the magic that had once made the restaurant thrive. Regrettably, it was too late. Loyal customers had found other places to eat, and despite the reintroduction of the old concept, they did not return. Additionally, the highly skilled chef, known for exceptional cooking, refused to rejoin the team. As a result, the restaurant continued to flounder, showing no signs of improvement or recovery. The weight of the situation began to take its toll on Lucas, and he became preoccupied and forgetful. One day, Mia gently reminded him, "Honey, you remember we have guests coming tomorrow, right?" Lucas's eyes widened, and he clutched his head in realization that he had completely forgotten about the upcoming visit. Filled with concern, he asked, "Do you think we can ask Maya to cancel or postpone it?" Mia sighed before answering, "I don't think she will." The reality of their situation sank in as they both knew they needed to confront the challenges ahead. Together, they faced the uncertain future of their once thriving family business, determined to find a way to rebuild and rediscover the magic that had once made it shine. "It's too late now. They've already been informed," Mia said with a hint of amusement in her voice. Lucas was silent for a moment before he spoke again. I don't know. We've only met her once, and they already want to meet the parents. You know how Maya is. She's stubborn. She definitely takes after her grandfather in that respect. Yes, she does. Well, let's get ready to meet our future relatives, Mia replied, trying to ease Lucas's concerns. The engagement news had caught Lucas off guard. Overwhelmed by the workload and challenges at the restaurant, he had truly forgotten that Maya was getting engaged. In the constant rush between home and work, he had lost sight of simply living and enjoying life's precious moments. Ironically, this was the very outcome he was trying to avoid when he dreamed of becoming a successful businessman. Almost 30 years ago, Lucas had left his provincial upstate hometown and moved to the city to start afresh and build a new life for himself. A diligent student, he managed to balance his studies with a part-time job working the night shift as a security guard. Eventually, he landed a job at Mr. Fosterfield's restaurant, where he decided to stay, no matter what challenges he faced. To sweeten the deal, Mia, the owner's beautiful daughter, captured his heart, making everything seem perfect for Lucas. Over the years, Lucas achieved the success he had always dreamed of, but not without his fair share of hurdles. As a father, he hoped that his daughter Maya would find a partner who was not only loving but also financially secure. He was not motivated by personal gain but simply wanted to ensure his daughter's well-being and happiness. He longed for her to enjoy life without the worries and struggles he had experienced. However, Lucas was not entirely familiar with the background of Maya's future partner or his family. As a result, he could only hope that everything would go his way. The next day, a crisis erupted at the restaurant. A prominent guest had decided to dine at their establishment, and Lucas had to juggle his responsibilities while preparing to meet his future in-laws. With a sense of determination and love for his family, Lucas faced the challenges that lay ahead, ready to embrace both the joys and struggles of life's unpredictable journey. And as fate would have it, he was the one who discovered a strand of hair in his food. His outraged reaction was so intense it seemed like windows were breaking. Lucas immediately realized the gravity of the situation and knew that it would take more than just changing the menu to solve the problem. He would have to make sweeping changes, including replacing the staff. After tense negotiations, Lucas and the disgruntled customer reached an agreement, but the resolution came at a significant cost to Lucas. Arriving home exhausted and frustrated, Lucas was greeted at the door by Maya. "Dad, I was just about to call you. I thought you were late," she said with a smile. Seeing his daughter's face again, Lucas's heart instantly melted. "Baby, how could I? You're my treasure, sweetheart," he replied affectionately. Maya then took his jacket, preparing for the arrival of their guests, John and his mother. John. I've heard that name so often. I can't wait to find out who they really are, Lucas thought to himself. Maya assured him, "Dad, they're wonderful people. You'll see. They're so nice and kind." Lucas smiled at his daughter's enthusiasm, but couldn't help but think that being nice and friendly might not be the most advantageous qualities in the current circumstances. Nonetheless, he remained open-minded as he prepared to meet the guests. As everyone gathered around the table, they began to chat, getting to know each other better. Lucas and Mia observed their guests with great interest. Mrs. Edwards, John's mother, appeared robust with rosy cheeks and greeted everyone with a warm, broad smile. After exchanging pleasantries and enjoying some coffee, Lucas began asking John questions about his life and aspirations. He wanted to know more about the young man who had captured his daughter's heart and would soon become part of their family. As the conversation flowed, Lucas found himself appreciating John's genuine sincerity and determination. It was evident that John had a strong sense of responsibility and shared similar values with their family. As the evening progressed, Lucas couldn't help but feel a sense of hope and anticipation. Perhaps, amidst the challenges faced by the restaurant and the uncertainties of life, the meeting with John and his mother could bring new possibilities and a fresh chapter for their family. With an open heart, Lucas looked forward to the future, trusting that everything would fall into place as it was meant to be. "So, John, tell us about your plans for the future," Lucas inquired. "Well, I'm graduating from high school in 2 months, and I plan to join KB Works," John replied confidently. "I've heard about that company. What makes you so sure they will hire you?" Lucas asked curiously. "I did an internship there, and then they offered me a job," John explained. Just then, John's mother, Mrs. Edwards, interjected, "John is such a responsible young man. He always accomplishes what he sets out to do. But enough about business. We brought you some homemade pickles as a gift. Don't worry. We made them ourselves with fresh and natural ingredients." Mrs. Edwards proudly displayed jar after jar of pickles and jams on the table, offering them as a thoughtful gesture. Lucas and Mia exchanged glances, not quite sure how to react. They had always considered themselves part of a more affluent circle, and the scene before them seemed rather unexpected. The hosts exchanged another look, and Lucas, unable to resist, asked, "Are you farmers or something?" Mrs. Edwards laughed heartily and replied, "Well, you could say we have a small farm in the countryside." She also mentioned that they had chickens and offered to share some of her delicious fried chicken with them. Mia, seemingly taken aback, inquired, "So you're basically from a rural area?" Mrs. Edwards nodded hesitantly, not entirely sure why the tone of the conversation had shifted. As they continued chatting, Mia's demeanor changed. She muttered under her breath, barely audible to others. "As if we didn't have enough problems already," she said with frustration. Lucas couldn't help but chuckle, realizing the irony of the situation. He motioned for Mia to follow him into the kitchen. "Honey, I think we need to have a serious talk with Maya. We can't judge people based on their background or upbringing," Lucas began. "How many times have I told you we need to be more open-minded and understanding? It's not fair to label them like that. They seem like kind and genuine people." Mia sighed, realizing her mistake. "You're right. I shouldn't have made assumptions about them. I'll talk to Maya and apologize," she said, feeling remorseful for her quick judgment. Lucas smiled warmly, appreciating Mia's willingness to see things differently. "Let's make an effort to welcome them into our family with an open heart. After all, they are the ones who will soon be a part of our lives," he said. With renewed understanding and acceptance, Lucas and Mia returned to the dining room, ready to embrace their guests with warmth and kindness. As the evening progressed, they found themselves genuinely enjoying the company of John and his mother, realizing that true connections were not bound by societal labels or backgrounds. Maya's heart sank as she read John's response. She couldn't believe how quickly everything had unraveled. Feeling lost and hurt, she decided to give him the space he needed but couldn't stop her mind from racing with worry and regret. In the following days, Maya tried to focus on her work and daily routine, but her thoughts were consumed by what had transpired with her parents and John. She couldn't shake the feeling of disappointment and frustration towards her parents for judging John and his family based on their background. As the days turned into weeks, Maya felt a deep longing to reconnect with John, to explain her true feelings and to stand by him despite her parents' objections. With a heavy heart, she decided to reach out to him one last time, hoping he would be willing to hear her out. She composed a heartfelt message, apologizing for her parents' behavior and assuring him that she didn't share their views. She expressed how much she cared for him and how deeply she believed in their relationship. Maya clicked send, hoping and praying that John would read her message with an open heart. Several anxious hours passed, but there was no response. Maya felt her hope waning, and her heart sank even further. Doubts and regrets gnawed at her, wondering if she had lost the love of her life due to her parents' misguided judgments. Just when Maya began to lose all hope, a message notification lit up her phone screen. It was from John. Her heart raced as she opened the message, relieved that he had finally responded. John's message was heartfelt and sincere. He acknowledged that he had needed time to process everything and was hurt by the way her parents had treated him and his family. However, he also admitted that he couldn't let go of their relationship so easily. He shared his love for Maya and expressed how much she meant to him. Despite the hurt, he was willing to give their love a chance, but he emphasized the importance of setting boundaries with her parents to protect their relationship. Maya felt a mixture of relief and joy flood over her. She knew that standing up to her parents wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to fight for her love with John. She replied to him with a renewed sense of hope and commitment, promising to support him through whatever challenges lay ahead. In the coming days, Maya and John had many difficult conversations with her parents. It was a tumultuous time, filled with tears, anger, and stubbornness. However, through it all, Maya and John stood by each other, united in their love and determination to build a life together. As they faced the storm together, Maya realized that love wasn't about pleasing her parents or conforming to societal expectations. It was about finding happiness and fulfillment with the person she loved. With John by her side, Maya felt a newfound strength to forge her own path and create a future that was true to her heart. Feeling lost and heartbroken, Maya spent the evening wandering the city alone. Tears streamed down her face, and she couldn't bring herself to return home. At that moment, the only person she wanted to confide in was her grandfather, Isaac. After the death of his wife, Isaac lived a lonely life in his house, which was not far from Maya's home. Feeling the need for comfort and understanding, Maya decided to pay her grandfather a visit. She poured out her heart to Grandpa Isaac, telling him everything that had happened at the house, and she was not pleased. "Honey, your parents are young and haven't realized something very important yet. Go home and get some rest." Despite the late hour, Isaac decided to pay Lucas and Mia a visit. He entered their house quietly and approached the table where they were cleaning up and putting the things John and his mother had brought in plastic bags. "Hey Dad, what are you doing here so late?" Isaac didn't react immediately. Instead, he calmly walked over to the table and sat down. He asked for a plate, knife, and fork. "Open the jars, Lucas," he instructed. "You mean the pickles?" "Yes." Lucas opened one of the jars and handed it to his father-in-law. Isaac cut a small piece from one of the pickles and savored it with delight. Delicious. Reminds me of something so dear and special to me," he said. Intrigued by the smell, Lucas raised his eyebrows. "Strange, this is an interesting smell. I've never smelled anything like it before." He took a pickle out of the jar and when he took a bite, he froze with joy. Mia, curious, decided to try one as well. "Honey, these are so delicious. I've never tried them before." She peered into the bag to see what else was inside. "Look, there's some salads. Oh, and there's some dried meat. Smells delicious." "It's called jerky," Isaac corrected her. Lucas sampled everything John and his mother had brought, then leaned back on the sofa. Isaac sighed deeply before speaking. "You know, Lucas, sometimes we overlook the simple things in life that hold so much meaning. These pickles and jerky, they remind me of my childhood, my home, and the love of my parents. They were ordinary, hardworking people, but they knew the value of family, loyalty, and acceptance." Lucas listened intently as Isaac continued. "Your parents are good people, but they are also young and have their own fears and insecurities. They may not understand John and his family, but that doesn't mean they are any less deserving of respect and love. Remember, love is about accepting people for who they are, not trying to change them." As Isaac spoke, Lucas felt a sense of clarity wash over him. He realized that his parents' judgment had clouded his judgment too. He had to find a way to bridge the gap and help them see the goodness in John and his family, just like his grandfather had helped him see the value in the simple pickles and jerky. With newfound determination, Lucas thanked Isaac for his wisdom and promised to work on understanding and accepting John and his family. Isaac smiled warmly, proud of the man Lucas was becoming, and they shared a moment of connection and understanding that transcended generations. Mia, honey, when I first met your mom, she was such a wonderful person, and I knew she was the one. But guess what? She and I were what you'd call hicks. These pickles and everything on this table are so dear to me. They remind me of where I came from, and I'll never forget it. Your mother and I worked hard to get you where you are now. You were born into this life. At this point, Mia understood where the conversation was going. Lucas hung his head down, anticipating what was to come. Well, Lucas, when you first came to work in my restaurant, you didn't have much either. I didn't keep you there because you were good at your job. My daughter liked you. I was willing to do anything for them. Lucas knew exactly what Isaac meant. Isaac rose from his seat as quietly as he had arrived and left the house. Lucas and Mia stood there for a moment, then proceeded to try more of the farm-fresh food, which they enjoyed immensely. The next day, Isaac took his granddaughter Maya in his truck and drove to the village where John and his mother lived. They arrived just as they were eating lunch. Isaac introduced himself and asked if he could have some more jerky, which made everyone laugh. They all sat together and talked about the old days on the farm. Isaac shared his story of growing up around animals and how it taught him frugality and hard work. The conversation touched Mrs. Edwards' heart, and she took Isaac's words as an apology for the actions of his daughter and son-in-law. Meanwhile, John and Maya had gone for a walk and returned later with smiles on their faces. John, son, I can see that you're a hard-working man. Your mother has told me all about you. You're the kind of man I'd like to have by my granddaughter's side. After saying goodbye, Isaac and Maya headed home. On the way back, Maya thanked her grandfather for his wisdom and for handling the situation so well. A month later, at Mr. Foster Field's request, Lucas and Mia arrived at the restaurant wearing waiter uniforms. I don't know why we're closed today or why I'm wearing this uniform, Mia told Lucas, clearly disappointed. Mr. Foster Field approached them with a smile. Well, it's a surprise for both of you, he said. You see, after some reflection and a heartfelt conversation with my granddaughter, I've come to realize that the farm fresh concept is what truly makes this restaurant special. The pickles, the jerky, and everything else from John's family farm have won the hearts of our customers. Today, we're reopening with a renewed focus on our roots, just like it was in the beginning. Lucas and Mia exchanged surprised glances. We're going back to the basics, Mr. Foster Field continued. And I couldn't think of better people to lead this journey than the two of you. I want you to take charge and run the restaurant with love and dedication. It's time for a fresh start, and I have no doubt that you'll make it even more successful than it was before. Overwhelmed with gratitude and excitement, Lucas and Mia embraced each other and their beloved boss. The old restaurant was about to embark on a new chapter, embracing its humble beginnings while looking forward to a bright future. As the doors opened to welcome the first customers, Lucas and Mia felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. They were ready to carry on the legacy of the Farm Fresh restaurant with a profound understanding of its true essence and the love that bound them together as a family. As Isaac entered the hall, Mia asked her father, "Dad, what's going on?" "We did what you asked, can we take off these uniforms now? The banquet has not started yet." "Patience, sweetheart. In a few moments, there'll be two very important guests here. I want you to meet them and make sure they're seated and served." Mia assumed her father had organized the event to teach her husband how to run the restaurant or something. She had no idea who was about to walk in. A few minutes later, John and Mrs. Edwards entered, smiling and looking absolutely stunning. "Welcome to our restaurant. Please be seated," Isaac announced. Lucas and Mia were shocked when they saw them, but they soon realized what had happened. Isaac approached Lucas and Mia, who were standing with their heads bowed, and said, the best apology is a change in behavior. Now go and show them your hospitality. After all, Mrs. Edwards is your new cook. A year had passed, and the restaurant had undergone a remarkable transformation. Mrs. Edwards' culinary skills had breathed new life into the establishment, attracting numerous customers with her delicious meals. The business was thriving, and Lucas and Mia were grateful for the positive change that had taken place in their lives. As Isaac's 80th birthday approached, his family planned a surprise dinner at the restaurant to honor him. When he arrived and found the restaurant empty, he suspected something was up. The surprise worked perfectly, and Isaac was deeply touched by the gesture. For the first time, he genuinely smiled at Lucas and expressed his appreciation for the person he had become. Over time, Isaac's relationship with Lucas evolved from that of a boss to a father figure. He had played a crucial role in shaping Lucas into a compassionate and responsible man. Lucas thanked him for all the lessons he had learned and for guiding him not only in the restaurant business but also in life. As the surprise party continued, Maya arrived with a special announcement. She revealed that she was expecting a baby and that she and John had decided to name the baby Isaac, in honor of her beloved grandpa. Isaac was overjoyed by the news and cherished the gift of becoming a great-grandfather. The following months were filled with anticipation and excitement as the family eagerly awaited the arrival of baby Isaac. The restaurant continued to thrive, and Mrs. Edwards' delicious cooking was now a defining feature that drew in even more customers. Finally, the day arrived when Mrs. Edwards gave birth to baby Isaac. The family gathered with immense joy and love to welcome the newest member of their clan. Isaac's heart swelled with pride as he held the little bundle of joy in his arms. He knew that his legacy would live on through this precious child. As the years passed, baby Isaac grew into a bright and spirited child, cherished by everyone around him. The restaurant remained a cherished family business, passed down through generations, symbolizing the unbreakable bond of love and unity that had been forged through adversity and understanding. In the end, the journey had taught Lucas and Mia the true meaning of family, forgiveness, and acceptance. It had shown them that love and compassion could heal old wounds and create lasting connections. Together, they had turned a struggling restaurant into a thriving family business, where the aroma of love and freshly prepared food filled the air, welcoming everyone with open arms. Thank you for watching and listening to my story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. And don't forget to share your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. See you next time.